Hey, good evening, everyone from the USA, all over the world, plus Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka Lonely Nomad, aka the Gregonator, aka the Unstoppable Independent Podcaster, YouTuber, host with the most, and rookie podcaster of Queens, New York. And you are now tuning in and rocking with the the sports edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. The show where we talk about the stories behind the athletes and of course the stats, the everything you just name it though, man. And as for how I'm doing mentally, physically, and spiritually, um, as a human being, human beings um have their ups and downs on things in life, of course, in terms of like it can be anything that a person's going through. It can be about you know being bullied. It could be about being hassled by fucking online flizzies, aka the internet thugs who got nothing else to do. Um so mentally mentally, it's an uphill battle of a roller coaster for me. But physically and spiritually, I am all right. So just want to get that mental health check-in thing out the way. Um, if you guys are new to the channel, a new listener, and a new YouTuber from the YouTube universe that just came in and don't know what's going on, and you missed any previous episodes whatsoever. First and foremost, let me just say we are live and direct from StreamYard and from and YouTube, and of course, alongside with my Instagram handle of the show's page, which is Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, which is the sports edition show, by the way. And you know, um, go to the YouTube channel. Um, make sure you enable alerts. Make sure you stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Um, of course, download your favorite episodes, and I will gladly go over the audio streaming platforms on the go at the end of the show. All right, so let's get into our first topic right here, though. Shall we? This one, um, this one, of course, has to do with 2 years ago, a a particular NBA player, Kobe Bryant, passed away in a helicopter crash with his daughter. So, so we want to highlight some things about Kobe Bryant. So that's going to be the first topic. So there we go. Um, okay. So hang on a second, folks. Okay, so here we go. Today marks the second anniversary of untimely death of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi Bryant. The legacy of Bryant continues to live on through generations of athletes, the city of Los Angeles, philanthropy, literature, and beyond. To celebrate his life, we are looking back on some of the biggest his biggest moments that made him a global icon and basketball Hall of Famer. Um February 8th, Bryant wins the 1997 Nestle Crunch Slam Dunk Contest as a rookie during All Star Weekend in Cleveland. June 14th, 2000, Bryant scores 28 points against the Indiana Pacers in Game 4 of the 2000 NBA Finals. Bryant would go on to win his first NBA championship in 6 games. December 19th, 2005, Bryant scored 62 points in just 33 minutes at the Staples Center against Dallas Mavericks. January 22nd, Bryant roasted the Toronto Raptors for 81 points at the Staples Center. March 16th, 2007, Bryant finishes up another stellar performance with 65 points against the Portland Trailblazers at the Staples Center. February 2nd, 2009, Bryant touches the New York Knicks, scoring 61 points at Madison Square Garden. June 17th, 2010, Bryant closes out the rival Boston Celtics in 7 games to win his 5th NBA title with the Lakers. April 16th, 2016, Bryant scores 60 points in his grand finale NBA game at the Staples Center against the Utah Jazz. And of course, that was your moment of Kobe Bryant. So let's move on to an SRP to Kobe Bryant and his daughter who basically crashed into basically crashed in the helicopter. So anyway, so hold on a second. Our next topic has to do with 5 candidates to replace Joe Judge. Here we go. Okay. Under the leadership of Joe Judge, the downtrodden New York Giants are coming off a 14-13 season. It led to the New York firing its head coach after just 2 seasons. Such is the nature of the beast for an irrelevant NFL franchise that has put up 5 consecutive losing seasons while boasting a combined record of 22-59 during that span. With general manager David Gettleman having also announced his retirement, things are going to change big time in Jersey. Below, we look at 5 ideal candidates to become the New York Giants head coach. So, Josh McDaniels is the first pick. So, whether it's a recipe for success moving forward remains to be seen. What we do know is that these Giants are likely to move off Daniel Jones after just 3 seasons. He has not proven himself to be anywhere near a starter caliber quarterback, boosting an additional first round pick in the 2022 NFL draft. There's a chance that New York opts to go quarterback. Could that dictate the team hires as head coach? If so, McDaniels would make the most sense. He's been a top end candidate throughout the NFL since an ill-fated tenure with the Broncos from 2009 to 2010. He has a history of leading elite offenses with the New England Patriots. From that organization, might be a hard move from a PR perspective. McDaniels could be the guy to turn around the ship in Jersey. Of course, second pick is Doug Peterson. Let's be honest here. The 53-year-old Peterson wouldn't be a horrible hire for New York. Sure, he bombed out in his final season with the division rival Philadelphia Eagles. So 4-11-1 record. But we're talking about a Super Bowl champion head coach and someone who led Philadelphia to 3 consecutive winning seasons. To put that latter in perspective, the Giants have had 1 winning season since all the way back in 2012. Peterson is known for working with quarterbacks dating back to his days with Donovan McNabb and Michael Vick. He would bring both experience and previous success to a fledgling no no fledgling organization. Peterson has also received a ton of interest in this year's coaching cycle. That can't be lost on it all. Third pick would be Patrick Graham, seen as a savant on the defensive side of the ball. The 42-year-old Graham has been considered an under the radar head coach candidate over the past couple cycles. He took over as New York's defensive coordinator and defense and associate head coach back in 2020 after one season as the Dolphins defensive head. Prior to that, Graham worked in assistant roles with the Pack no, excuse me. Yeah, Packers. Um these very same Giants and the New England Patriots. What does this all mean? Graham has a ton of experience. He has a reputation around the league and a built-in relationship with current Giants defenders. Regardless of who is calling the shots, Graham should be given a shot after the Giants moved off from Judge. Byron Leftwich, a former NFL quarterback, Leftwich has been a hot name on the circuit. There's good reason for this. Sure, some will point to Tom Brady as being the primary reason the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense has dominated, but it excuse me, must be noted that this same unit put up huge numbers under Jameis Winston in Leftwich's first season with the Buccaneers back in 2019. Leftwich would give the Giants that young offense mind that they have been missing. Regardless of who is under center, bringing in someone of this ilk could potentially turn around the fortunes of this long downtrodden franchise. Jim Harbaugh. There's a number of reports out there suggesting that Harbaugh might bolt Michigan after 5 seasons and return to the NFL. Apparently, his camp has confirmed this behind the scenes after the Super Bowl head coach led the Wolverines to the college football playoffs this season. While Harbaugh has been linked primarily to the Las Vegas Raiders, it's not yet known how that situation is going to play out with interim head coach Rich um um Rich Bisaccia having led Vegas to a surprising playoff appearance. In any event, Harbaugh moving on from college ball to coach in New York. No, it's not, excuse me. North America's largest media market would make a ton of sense. Hmm. Well, it is going to be interesting, actually. Um, it's yeah, that's crazy, man. And this person says, not a great choice, but something has got to change. Peterson is good with QBs. I don't think McDaniels can handle the pressure. Well, you know, never say never, folks. You know what I mean? I myself has been a New York Giants fan for quite some time. And yes, it's hard to win every game. Yes. And sometimes, depends on it depends on the defense and it depends on the offense as well. So it remains to be seen who's going to be the head coach. So it remains to be seen. So if I hear any new information in regards to who the new coach is going to be, I'll try to actually talk about that next time. But for now it remains to be seen. So there you have it right there. And speaking of remains to be seen, of course, obviously Daniel Jones didn't really play as much because of the neck injury. Of course, um, and this is what's going on here. So the Giants won 3 of the final 5 games that Daniel Jones started in 2021, losing on only Monday night road encounters with last season's Super Bowl teams, Kansas City and Tampa Bay. But after Jones suffered a season-ending neck injury against Philadelphia on November 28th, the Giants lost their final 6 games, including a 22-7 decision yesterday versus Washington. With Jones in the lineup, the Giants averaged 18.4 points a game without him. That number was almost half 9.3. Given that, it's safe to assume one of the keys to improvement in 2022 is for the Giants to keep their top quarterback healthy. And Jones said today the healing is moving forward. And he talks in quote, um, I'm doing good, progressing, he said on a Zoom call with reporters. There's a healing process that takes time. So trying to stay diligent with my rehab and treatment, working with the guys here. But everything is going well and feels good. Jones said absolutely expects to be fully cleared in spring or summer. Um, there's no contact for me until August, he said. So I can do everything from a lifting, throwing, running standpoint. I'm not limited in those areas. It is a process. I think it's weeks, but it's really irrelevant at this point because I don't expect to be doing any contact. While Jones is focused on healing his neck, he is also thinking about rehab- rehabilitating the offense. The Giants scored an NFL low 24 touchdowns to 23 on offense and finished 31st in the NFL with an average of 15.2 points, 297.3 total yards, and 18, no, excuse me, 188.0 passing yards a game. They did not throw for more than 200 yards in any of their last 9 games. The final 6 with Mike Glennon and Jake Fromm starting at quarterback, nor did they have a receiver with 50 catches. Obviously, no one expected it to turn out like it did, Jones said. I think when you look at what went wrong, I think you have to be smart in how you characterize it. It's never one thing. You got to look at the picture as a whole and what's going on. So that's what we'll do going into this off season. I certainly take a lot of responsibility in it, and I think each of our guys should understand what they need to do in their roles to improve as an offense. I'm certainly going to do that. Like I said, I take a lot of responsibility in where we are and how we perform as a group, as individuals as well. We have to analyze that, understand it, study it, and then work to improve and make sure we're not in that position again moving forward. In the season's final 6 weeks, Jones watched from the sidelines as the offense struggled to get into the end zone. I think it gives you a different perspective standing, he said. I think it's certainly not as helpful as playing. You're going to learn the most on the field playing in the game. So obviously you never want to be on the sideline watching. That's a tough spot to be in. You see a different perspective, but I'm sure there are things you can see obviously watching the game and trying to go through it like you are playing. But there's no substitute for being on the field. That's exactly where Jones expects to be when the 2022 season begins. Um, Saquon Barkley missed 4 games with ankle injury and tied Devontae Booker for the for the team lead with 593 rushing yards. Barkley was sidelined for virtually the entire 22 season after severely injuring his right knee in week 2. Oh boy. But Barkley didn't approach the numbers he posted in 2018 and 19 when he became the first Giants player to rush for more than 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 seasons. Barkley was asked today, how sure are you that you are going to be a better version of yourself next year? I'm almost 100% sure to be completely honest because the only thing I can focus on is the things that I can control, Barkley said. I can control my work ethic. I can control my effort and my attitude this off season. This off season is going to be all about getting myself in tip top shape and getting my body back to the form where I need it to be. So I can be the player that I know I am. So the Giants have not won more than 6 games in any of Barkley's 4 seasons, but he remains confident the team can improve its performance and place in the standings. I do believe it can be done, he said. I think you see it every year throughout the National Football League. A team that did not do so well the year before, and then the next year, um, they are in the playoff contention. It's the off season. In the off season, as players, we've got to come in. We've got to work and ownership and coaches. They're going to do the right thing to add key additional pieces that we need for our team. We're going to get healthier with guys like linebacker Blake Martinez coming back and just going to keep working and do what is going to be necessary to happen for us to make us turn it around. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, Barkley and Booker are the first pair of teammates to tie for a team's rushing lead since Ray Nolting and San Francisco each ran for 297 yards for the 1938 Chicago Bears. The two most significant transactions of James Bradbury's NFL career were executed by Dave Gettleman in 2016, Gentleman selected the comeback, no cornerback, excuse me, in the second round of the NFL draft for the Carolina Panthers. 4 years later, he induced Bradbury to sign with the Giants as a free agent. Gentleman announced his retirement today after 4 seasons as the Giants GM. He spoke to the team this afternoon. It's kind of bittersweet, Bradbury said. When I hear about retirement, I think of that person's legacy and also the hard work that they had to put and to get to retirement. So now he's going to be laying back, chilling, probably on the bench somewhere. And I congratulate him for that. But at the same time, I think about he gave me an opportunity to play for the Panthers. Then he gave me another opportunity to come here and play for the Giants. So I'm very appreciative of him. And I thank him for that. Um, Out there after the speech, congratulated him as well. Jones, whom gentleman selected sixth overall in the 2019 draft, had similar feelings. Obviously, tough to see him go, Jones said. He's a guy who gave me this opportunity and brought me in here. So I'll forever be grateful to him for that. I think the world of him as a guy and thought he did a good job. Tough to see him go and certainly wish him the best going forward. Just grateful for him and what he's done for me. Gentleman chose Barkley with the second selection in 2018. It's sad to see him retire, Barkley said. I'm always forever going to be grateful and thankful for Mr. Gentleman. He gave me the opportunity to live out my dream and to come and play for an amazing organization. Obviously, um, I wish we were able to have a lot more success, but the things that he taught me and things that I learned from him, I'm going to continue to carry them on my career, and the messages that he kept giving me or the conversations that we have, I know will I know I will take it I will take with me and help me kind kind of put my career in the right direction and finish it off the way I want it to be and how he perceived it to be too. Martinez was one of the 16 captains who missed games due to injury. The team's leading tackler with 151 in 2020. He tore his left ACL in week three against Atlanta. Martinez had played in every game the previous four seasons with um, Green Bay and the Giants. For my recovery, I'm just taking it one day at a time, Martinez said. Obviously, as a competitor, I'm doing everything I can and as much as I can each day to make sure I'm progressing in the right direction. Um, Martinez also offers some thoughts on the team's future. I got kind of a backseat viewpoint of on this year, he said. I think every guy has the same frustration. We're all competitors. We all want to win. We want to compete out there. For us, just looking out ourselves in the mirror, figuring out what we could do better across the board. Throughout the off season, throughout training camp, throughout the season, to make everyone around us better when we're out there on the field. I think moving forward, when we get back on the field, finding those little things where kind of like Saquon hit is just making those plays when they come to you, understanding scheme and executing when we need to in crucial um, moments. On September 16th in Washington, another captain, center Nick Gates, suffered a serious lower leg injury that requires several surgeries. I'm doing good, Gates said. I'm making good steps and good strides. In my rehab, I can't really tell you a specific timeline on when I'm going to be back or not. I'm just taking it day by day, just trying to get better each day and just listening to what the trainers are saying. Um okay. Um, the Giants signed 8 players to reserve future contracts. All of them spent all of it, all or part of the season on the practice squad, and some also spent time on the active roster. Quarterback Brian Lewiecki, linebackers Trent Harris and Amari Cobb, tackled Devery Hamilton, tight end Jake Hausman, defensive tackle David Moore, defensive end Nico Lalos, and wide receiver Travis Toverman. Tovernin. So yeah. Um all right, so there you have it right there. Um all right, so we're gonna go to our next topic right here. This has to do with okay, top 10 New York sports. All right. Okay. Top 10 New York sports moments in 2021. So so in just about all aspects, 2021 could have been better for New York, but the sports in the city could have been worse too. The Knicks surprised the stars of yesterday, Derek Jeter, and today Kevin Durant came through, and New York finally won a title, not in football, but in football. What the hell? um, here are the post rankings of the 10 best sports moments of the year. Number one, um, hold on a second. Yes, number one, the Knicks make the playoffs. Most uh this year saw the advent of the most successful Knicks team of the past 8 years. For the first time since 2013, there was playoff basketball at the Garden, with a defense oriented upstart team that got enough offense from breakout star Julius Randle to shock its way to home court advantage in the first round. The Knicks fell in 5 games to Trey Young's Hawks, but it has been a long time since the Garden witnessed that kind of excitement. Number two, Derek Jeter's Hall of Fame induction. Number two, naturally. Of course, it was a gorgeous autumn day, the perfect setting to salute the perfect New York career. When Jeter officially entered the Hall of Fame, the captain's speech was pitch perfect. He thanked his family, his Yankees family, and so many who helped the kid from Kalamazoo achieve immortality. Jeter thanked the fans above all else. End quote. I wanted to prove to you I belonged, and you kept pushing me to prove it over and over again. Mm. Number three, Kevin Durant goes berserk. The 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 Nets' big three was a limp 1.5 in the playoffs, with no Kyrie Irving and with James Harden suiting up, but struggling through a hamstring injury. On one night, though, one of the greatest players in the NBA history did not need backup or a backup. Durant played all 48 minutes of Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semis against the Bucks, shot 16 for 23 and poured in 49 points as the Nets took a 3-2 series lead that they could not hold. Wow. That's gotta suck. Number 4, Islanders close out Nassau Coliseum in style. Although I don't watch hockey, I'm just gonna fill you guys in on that one. Um, the Coliseum was rocking, but the energy soon turned to fear as the Islanders fell into a two-hole with their season and their home on their last breaths. But in game 6 of the Stanley Cup semifinals against the Lightning, Jordan um Burley scored on a backhand, and Scott Mayfield's third period goal forced one last overtime at the band. Anthony Bovilla set Long Island ablaze with a steal and wrist shot that ensured the last memory of the Coliseum. Was a good one. Number 5, Yankees walk off into postseason. The Yankees season did not end well, but their regular season sure did. They needed to win game 162 to sneak into the wild card game, and they needed their best hitter to come through with Tyler Wade on third in the bottom of the ninth of a scoreless game against the Rays at the stadium. Aaron Judge smoked a grounder up the middle that scored. Wade emptied the Yankees dugout and set a juicy wild card face off at Fenway Park. Not sure what happened next. Number 6, Madison Square Garden reopens. There were only about 2,000 in attendance, and the Knicks were actually, good. But otherwise, it was a step forward, feeling normal again. On February 23rd, tickets were sold and bought. Mass fans were allowed in for the first time in 11 months, and refs were jeered. Damn, really jeered? The outcome, a 114 to 116 Knicks loss to the Warriors, had never mattered less. The world was moving once more. Number 7, fireworks and bombs in Queens, New York, which is Flushing, Queens, which is based on Citi Field. Citi Field was never louder this season. The Subway Series finale on September 12th was an instant classic filled with memorable moments, none more stunning than Giancarlo Stanton's game-time rocket of a home run in the 7th inning. He ambled around the bases, jawed with Francisco Lindor and Avia Baez, and both dugouts cleared. The Mets, upset about some whistling from the Yankees dugout, whistled last when Lindor's third homer of the game made the difference in his brightest moment in Queens. Yes, that was the yes, that was like one of the most exciting games I actually had a chance to watch though. So that will never be forgotten. So, you know what I mean? So, number 8, NYCFC's title. With a team that plays on the sacred grass of Yankee Stadium, New York finally got its first champion since the Giants following the 2011 season. But the Yankees had been finished playing for more than 2 months. New York City FC captured the MLS Cup on December 11th with plenty of drama. When goalkeeper Sean Johnson needed to stop a pair of pulling penalty kicks for NYCFC to win its first title, and New York to remember what winning feels like. Number 9, the Cluebots expression never changed. Uh And Yankees fans might have been more nervous than he was. But in just his ninth start as a Yankee, the two-time Cy Young winner showed how good he could be, tossing a no-hitter in Texas on May 19th that made an ordinary Wednesday night extraordinary. He allowed just one walk and just one smile, breaking character and raising his arms upon the final out. Um, Number 10, stars added. Even in another down season for New York, the stars of the city grew brighter. The Nets added James Harden to compete their big three on January 14th. The Mets, Steve Cohen era kicked off with Lindor and took off with Max Scherzer. The Knicks took a shot with Kemba Walker. The Jets drafted Zach Wilson, and the Giants welcomed back Saquon Barkley. Yep, that was your top 10 moments. Now we go to we're gonna go to Jake Fromm, actually. Um of course, Jake Fromm. Um Redemption is not a word Jake Fromm chooses to use regarding his start at quarterback in the Giants season finale Sunday against the Washington football team. 2 weeks ago, Fromm made his NFL starting debut when the Giants visited the Philadelphia Eagles, but he threw for only 25 yards while completing 6 of 17 passes, and was replaced by Mike Glennon in the third quarter of the Giants' 34-10 defeat. The Giants scored only 3 points from ran the offense. Glennon played the entire game 3 days ago in Chicago, but suffered a wrist injury that requires surgery and will not be in uniform versus Washington. Fromm gets another chance to lead the Giants to victory and to demonstrate that he is a better quarterback than his first start would suggest. So, he was asked today if this is a chance to enjoy some personal redemption. For me, any opportunity to play in the NFL is a great opportunity, was Fromm's response. Obviously, I'm looking forward to having a good week of practice and going out and playing to the best of my abilities and how I think I can. Um, what did he learn from his unpleasant afternoon in Lincoln Financial Field? For me, it's how important putting together a good week of practice is. Coming out to the game and executing early, getting a rhythm and scoring a few points from said. That's going to be the focus for me this week. Have a good week of practice and getting off to a fast start. You can't change the past, so you just learn from it. You move on and try to do better next time. The Giants have searched for more productive play at quarterback and, by extension, their entire offense since Daniel Jones suffered a season ending neck injury versus Philadelphia on November 28th. Indeed, they are 0-5 since Jones took his last snap. In those 5 games, the Giants scored more than 10 points just once and totaled 4 touchdowns, 3 of them after facing deficits of at least 30 points. Glennon and Fromm combined to complete 116 of 174 passes, 66.7% for 701 yards. These, okay, 3 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. The Giants starter did not reach the 100-yard mark in each of the last 3 games and established a franchise low with minus 10 net passing yards in their loss to the Bears. But Fromm insists he would not carry any of that recent negative history with him when he steps onto the MetLife Stadium turf. The only pressure I feel is going to the only pressure I feel is going to be pressure I put on myself to go out and perform. He said, obviously I want to go out and play the best I can for me, but for my family, my teammates in the locker room, and for this organization. I'm going to go out and I'm going to give it all I can. Trust me, I want to win more than anybody does. With more with one more opportunity to win after 5 tough weeks, he has much company among his teammates. Um Hold on, let me take a sip. Stay with me, folks. All right. Okay, where was I? Yeah, where was I? Oh yeah. Um the 4 players who missed the Chicago game because they were on the reserve COVID-19 list were activated today. Defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence did not practice, while wide receiver Darius Slayton, tackle Corey Cunningham, and nose tackle Danny Shelton were limited. All the players are back in, ramping up, and getting ready to go ahead and return, Coach Joe just said. We'll see where they are physically as far as their return. They were in the building yesterday with their trainers as far as moving along that path. They'll continue with the ramp up today and then get them back on the field as soon as they can. Well, um, hang on a second, folks. All right. Um, okay. Okay. We'll see where they are physically as far as they return. They were in the building yesterday with the trainers as far as moving along that path. They'll continue with the ramp up today and then get them back on the field as soon as we can. Linebacker Amari Cobb and back Kadar Hallman were restored to the practice squad from the COVID-19 list, though Hallman remains on the injured list. Practice squad defensive lineman Woodrow Hamilton was placed on the COVID-19 reserve list. He started and assisted on 2 tackles in his Giants debut in Chicago. The Giants placed rookie linebacker Ellerson Smith on injured reserve with a neck injury. Smith played in the last 8 games after spending the first 8 weeks of the season on IR with a hamstring injury he suffered early in training camp. He made 4 tackles and 2 quarterback hits on defensive and 3 stops and 1 fumble recovery on special teams. Uh the New York and New Jersey metropolitan was hit overnight with freezing rain, a storm that left a coating of ice on many roadways. That resulted in hazardous traffic conditions and forced several Giants to arrive late to the facility today. Um, Man, I was on Route 3 for 4 hours this morning. Defensive back Julian Loves it. Whoa. His last name is Love? Are you serious? Oh man. It was unfortunate. Thankfully, I made it in safe. Kind of made some plays on the road. I would advise against. Um, but thankfully, I'm here, and I hope everybody is safe and just kind of praying for everybody. And understanding judge preach caution and dispense with the caution, customary fines for tardiness. We have a number of guys that are stuck right now in traffic that have been there for about 3 hours or so. Judge said at his news conference, which began at about 10:30 a.m. Really, all the guys coming from the city, Hoboken, Weehawken type of areas, least of the Giants headquarters. We have a number of guys that have been sending us pictures off their phones for about um the last 3 hours or so that they've been stuck. Sheesh. We've had a coach in the same situation. So we're moving on through the day as much as we can, and we expect them to be here for the afternoon to catch them up with whatever they missed. Um, with the circumstances these guys are dealing with, the tractor trailer that's crossing um off both directions of traffic, from what we understand and from the pictures we're seeing, we've had players that were talking about getting out of their cars and walking. We told them to stay in the vehicle, stay with it, it'll clear on out. We've had coaches that were stuck as well. The roads were definitely slick today. Definitely with the time we got the messages from the players that they were stuck in traffic. Um, would have been well ahead of the attendance time. So this wasn't a deal where we had squad at 7:30 and people were texting at 7:25. This was 6:45 in the morning. Everyone was saying, "Look, I've been stuck about a half hour or so. What do you want me to do?" We just told them, drive safe, stay patient. When they get out, when they get you out, we'll get you over there. Some of the guys have tried to stay in through meetings, through their speakerphones and things of that nature. We'll get them caught up when they get here. The Giants held walkthroughs today, so practice participation on their injury report was a projection. In addition to Lawrence and Glennon, the following players did not participate. Wide receivers, John Ross, knee injury, and Colin Johnson, hamstring. Fullback Colin Gillespie, knee injury. Defense lineman Austin Johnson, foot injury, and linebacker um, Ellison Smith, neck injury. Wow. Slayton, one of the three COVID-19 ramp up players who were listed as limited, also had a shoulder injury. The players who were limited were running back Saquon Barkley, ankle injury, wide receiver Kadarius Tony, shoulder injury, tight end Kyle Rudolph, ankle injury, tackle Andrew Thomas, shoulder injury, and guard Will Hernandez, ankle injury. Damn. Um, since 2001, the Giants chapter of the Professional Football Writers of America has annually presented the George Young Good Guy Award to a player for his consistent and outstanding cooperation with the writers who cover the team daily. Young, who was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2020, was the Giants' general manager from 1979 to 1997. This year, the writers added the name of his successor, Ernie Accorsi, to the award, which was given to defensive lineman Leonard Williams. The writers' announcement said Williams received the 21st annual award for his professionalism and availability during the 2021 season, and Accorsi um, for a career overflowing with such contributions. Um, the award is not no the, excuse me. The award is now known as the the George Young Ernie Accorsi Good Guy Award. I didn't think I did not think a Good Guy Award existed until now. Um, Williams was recognized for his honest, insightful, and candid answers to the many questions he faced during a challenging season, whether discussing fan reactions, his own health issues, or any of the other matters that made 2021 a turbulent year for the Giants. Williams was readily available to provide the perspective of a respected NFL veteran. I found out about it today, but I was just surprised that out of everybody that I won the award, because sometimes when I'm being brought in, I give um I give director of football communications Don Dargen and some of the staff a hard time about talking to the media. Williams said some of the um some of the closest and most diverse voting in years. Williams received 7 of the possible 16 first place votes. Safety Julian Love finished second in this year's voting with 4 um, first place votes. Wide receiver Kenny Galladay finished third with 2 first place votes. Fullback Eli Penny received 2 first place votes, and comeback James Bradbury received 1. In all, 10 different players appeared on at least one of the 16 ballots. Um, of course, his name has been permanently added to the award in recognition of a long career as one of the most accessible, gre- um, gregarious, um, quotable, and admired people to ever work in an NFL front office. He was general manager of the Giants from 1988 to 2006, and since his retirement has remained a valuable resource to many who chronicle the team. His impact on the franchise is undeniable, and immeasurable, and it will now be remembered annually with a great gratitude by the numbers of this chapter of the Professional Football Writers of America. Um, it means a lot to me that this comes from the media, to know you were fair and honest with them. Of course, he said. I really enjoyed my interaction with the New York media. It was a great experience. The give and take. George was a master at that. Anything that has to do with George means a lot to me. I really appreciate this, especially because of the connection to George. So, the winners of the George Young Ernie Accorsi Good Guy Award. Oh, wow. Mm. All right, so 2021. Um, wait a second. Leonard Williams, 2020. Logan Ryan, 2019. Evan Engram, 2018. Sterling Shepard, 2017, Landon Collins. 2016, Victor Cruz. Prince Amukamara. 2014, Rashad Jennings. 2013, Terrell Thomas. 2012, Antrell Rowe. 2011, Victor Cruz. 2010, Barry Cofield. 29, no, excuse me, 2009, Matthias Kiwanuka. 2008, Eli Manning. 2007, Justin Tuck. 2006, Plaxico Burress. 2005, Tiki Barber. 2004, Kurt Warner. 2003, Ike Hillard. 2002, Kerry Collins. And last but not least, Lomas Brown. All right. Okay. Now this wasn't shocking to everybody, but this is in regards to Tom Brady retiring, and yeah, this is gonna be crazy. Anyway, so it's the end of an era for Tom Brady, who made the stunning confirmation of his retirement on Tuesday after 22 years as the NFL's leading quarterback. And now many fans are wondering where he goes from here. Well, one thing he has been settled. Despite some diehard fans, Reddit and Twitter wishes it's not back to Boston. Um, at page 6, previously reported the 7-time Super Bowl champion and all-time quarterback record holder shelled out 17 million for a sprawling plot of land located in Miami's Indian Creek Island, also known as the Billionaire's Bunker. Ooh. Brady, age 44, and his wife, supermodel and activist Giselle Butchen, age 41, demolished the initial structure on the property, a five bedroom home spanning over 5,700 square feet. They were spotted at the home last May, likely discussing plans of their massive renovation project. Aerial shots showed the aftermath of the teardown with the new home under construction. Um, Sources told Page 6 that the power couple is building an environmentally friendly mansion with a particular focus on the design, all the way down to the doorknob, and they are allegedly hoping to emulate their longtime Massachusetts home. Brady and Butchen also had designed their New England home, which they sold in February 2021 for a whopping $32.5 million. They like to build from the ground up, a source told Page 6 in December 2020. Look at their no, excuse me. Look at their Brookline home. This will be like that. Um, on one side of the lot is the crystal blue Biscayne Bay with views of the neon lit South Beach skyline. On the other side is an expensive golf course for when the athlete wants to hit some balls. Brady was previously spotted sailing to the property on a 40-foot yacht. The lot on the southwest corner of the island is next door to his pal, financier Jeffrey Soffer. uh, other other neighbors include Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Oh God, no, man! I can't stand that woman. Who also invested in a plot of land on the island around the same time. The island is ultra private and is only accessible via a bridge that manned by a guard with 24-hour security by land, air, and sea. Make up of 300 acres, the island is occupied by just 34 estates, each with an average value of $20 million. Their move to buy the Miami property comes a month before they sold their New York City Tribeca apartment for a whopping $36.8 million. Meanwhile, sources told Page Six the duo are looking to invest in property on the West Coast as well. Um, I was a native Californian for a long time in my life and went away from it for about 25 years. You won't catch me dead living in the Northeast anymore. I'm loving the warm weather and it's been a great feeling, the 3-time MVP winner said. Following Brady's retirement announcement, many noticed he left out any mention of the New England Patriots, with whom he spent 20 of his career years playing. Instead, he paid homage to his final team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Former Patriots quarterback Scott Zolak called the move cold and calculating. But Brady did respond to a tweet by the Patriots account, which included a statement from owner Robert Kraft reacting to the retirement news. Um, Thank you, Patriots Nation, Brady wrote with a red heart emoji. I'm beyond grateful. Love you all. Rumors have circled that Brady's apparent issue with the team stems more from his last interaction with Patriots coach Bill Belichick upon his departure from the team. According to a book by ESPN's Seth Wickersham, Belichick reportedly wouldn't meet face to face with Brady for a proper goodbye when the quarterback departed New England for Tampa Bay. I mean, he did win so many championships, though, man. Let's be real here. You know what I mean? He really, he really, he really did his best, though, man. You know what I mean? And of course, everybody's gonna remember him, despite the fucking um deflate deflate game that he did. Despite all that, man, he's gonna be remembered as the greatest player. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Um. All right. So we're gonna go to. Let me see. Let's see. All right. Now that we're okay, we're gonna go to deadlines and um commitment. Okay, so-called back to normal. Um, of course, thankfully, the Nets have all cleared from the league's COVID health and safety protocols. Kessler Edwards being the last. The rest of the league isn't so lucky, but soon the league will be back to normal. Hold breath, cross his fingers. And the trade season delayed by all the players coming and going will be back on. First date to watch is Wednesday. Will Kyrie Irving play his first game of the season in India? Lots of hints that he will. We should have a bigger, better hint of the way things are going in either Steve Nash's media availability Monday at 5:45 p.m. or the next injury update for the Pacers game, which will be released Tuesday at about 5:30 p.m. Of course, this was last month. So here we go. January 5th, first game we can reasonably expect Kyrie Irving to return versus the Pacers in India. After that, we have to wait a week until the Nets head to Chicago to play the Bulls on January 12th. Irving, of course, cannot play in home games or games with the Knicks and Raptors because of the local rules affecting unvaccinated players. You think G League regular season starts up after Winter Showcase. Delayed from December 24th, Long Island Nets are scheduled to play the College Park's Skyhawks at Nassau Coliseum. Langston Galloway's second 10-day hardship exception set to expire. Nets would have to open a roster spot to keep him. Um, DeAndre Bambry, vet's minimum contract fully guarantees as do all non-guaranteed and partially guaranteed deals. Um, Same with David Duke Jr.'s two-way deal. Shaquille Harrison's second 10-day hardship exception set to expire. Nets would have to open a roster spot to keep him. 2. No trade restriction lifts on Bruce Brown. Brown must approve any trade. WNBA free agency begins. NBA to determine whether COVID-19 hardship exception rules will continue. Patty Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge returned to San Francisco for the first time since leaving Spurs for net expect video for net. Expect video tributes galore. Nets host Lakers at Barclays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, exactly 1 month after the two squads went head-to-head on Christmas Day. Kevin Durant returns to Golden State for the first time with fans in the stands, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Warriors have promised to retire his jersey. Will it take place this time? Ermi Udoka, former Nets assistant, brings his Boston Celtics to Barclays Center for the first time. February 10th, NBA trade deadline, 3 p.m. Eastern. Always expect action. February 13th, the biggest day of football of Super Bowl 56. Big day for New York sports books, which could be open in mid-January. February the 18th to the 20th, NBA All-Star 2022, Cleveland, Ohio. March 1st, playoff eligibility waiver deadline, aka the buyout deadline. The players waived or bought out after this date cannot play in postseason. April 2nd, NBA G League regular season ends. April 5th, NBA G League playoffs begin. April 10th, regular season concludes versus Pacers at Barclays Center. Luxury tax bill based on payroll at end of regular season. April 11th, roster set for NBA playoffs 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern. April 11th, WNBA draft. Liberty have the 5th and 29th picks. April 12th to the 15th, NBA play-in tournament for teams finishing 7th through 10th seeds. April 16th, first round of NBA playoffs begin. April 7th, and WNBA training camps open. April 22nd, WNBA preseason begins. May 2nd to the 3rd, conference semifinals begin. Possible move up to April 30th on May 1st. WNBA season begins. New York Liberty scheduled to be announced. May 17th, NBA Draft Lottery 2022. May 17th to the 18th, conference finals begin. Possible move up to May 16th. No, May 15th to the 16th. June 2nd, NBA Finals begin. June 19th, Game 7 of the NBA Finals if necessary. June 23rd, NBA Draft. Nets currently have no picks in either round. Excuse me. Yeah, in either round and no cash considerations to acquire picks. June 29th, player option deadline for Patty Mills, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, as well as qualifying offer deadlines for David Duke Jr. and Nicholas Claxton. July 1st, start of the 2022 to 2023 free agency. Uh, July 5th, first day free agents can sign or re-sign. July 7th, traditional date by which NBA teams must pay the luxury tax. Next current tax bill is $110 million. July 10th, WNBA All Star Game. August 7th, the NBA, no, excuse me, the Nets $11.45 million traded player exception generated by the Spencer Dinwiddie trade expires 1 year after Dinwiddie trade to Washington. Also $118,000 TPE generated by the Landry Shamit trade expires. August 19th, the Nets $6.27 million traded player exception generated by the DeAndre Jordan trade expires. Excuse me. 1 year after Jordan trade to Detroit. October 6th, the Nets $1.3 million traded player exception generated by Siko Damboya expires. 1 year after Damboya trade to Indiana. In October 31st, team options on Cam Thomas and DeRon Sharp. All right. Okay. Let me see. Let's see if I don't think I covered. Let me see this. Hold on, folks. Let me see if I missed anything. I think I hold on. We got three more topics to go over. Um, three more topics to go over. Um, Here we go. Let's see how much time I have left. Okay. All right. Okay, so here's why the Super Bowl 56 line is moving in the Rams' favor. Let's take a look at this article. Um, as of Friday morning, the line for Super Bowl 56 moved half a point since it opened late Sunday night with the Los Angeles Rams sitting at 4.5 point favorites over the Cincinnati Bengals. That line came back down, however, to 4 points Friday afternoon, and it could move again. There are reasons for why the line increased and is now still more than up field goal, even with a with a lot of money so far going the Bengals' way. The Rams are playing at home at SoFi um, Stadium in Inglewood, California, becoming the second team in history and in as many years to host a Super Bowl. Tampa Bay did it last year. Um, Hold on for 1 second, folks. I need a sip. All right. Um, where was I? Mm, yes, but the Bengals have an equalizer in Joe Burrow. The second year quarterback out of LSU has been, well, really good. We've said it before and we'll say it again. It's unwise to count him or the Bengals out of any game. And it's not just offensively where Cincinnati has been impressive. The Bengals defense is giving up less than 20 points per game in the playoffs, including just 3 second half no, excuse me, second half points to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC title game during the Bengals' 18-point comeback win. Cincinnati has won 6 out of its last 7 outright and 7 in a row against the spread. But then there are the Rams, winners of 8 of their last 9 games. Quarterback Matthew Stafford has plenty of offensive weapons, namely Cooper Cup and Odell Beckham Jr., who have combined for 622 of the Rams' 945 postseason passing yards, which is nearly 66%. The receiving duo has 44 total catches and 5 touchdowns, which, no, excuse me, with each averaging about 15 grabs per game. On the other side of the ball, LA's defense is giving up just 18.3 points per game in the playoffs. And that all-star defensive line, led by Aaron Donald and Von Miller, will look to tee off on Burrow. Even if they do get to the Bengals quarterback, remember this: Burrow has sacked a playoff record 9 times against the Tennessee Titans in the divisional playoff round, and the Bengals still won. There's a lot of time left before kickoff, and we'll have more picks and predictions next week here at Front Pages Bets. Um, let's see. All right. Gilbert Arenas. All right. The Philadelphia Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets are at the forefront of the trade talks around the league right now, with superstar James Harden heading to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons as the centerpiece of the speculated deal. The Sixers have had an interest in Harden for some time due to team president Daryl Morey's connection with Harden from their days together in Houston. The Sixers want to team him with Joel Embiid, despite the recent whispers about a possible decline in Harden's performance. However, former NBA All-Star Gibert Arenas says he wouldn't trade Harden for Simmons. And this is what he says: if I'm the Nets and I'm going to give up a bona fide superstar offensively for a superstar defensively, why? Why? Like, why? Why? Even though the Nets are not playing very well, when they are all on point, or even 2 of them, they are hard to stop, you know? So it's like having Golden State. You got 3 scorers, and then if you can get Draymond Green, Ben Simmons over there, boom. So I'll give you Blake Griffin. I'll give you Joe Harris. I'll give you 2 coaches, uh, a chandelier. I'll give you whatever you want. I just want to keep them 3 at Ben, and we're good. Um. So, damn. Wait a second. Football Sports on Twitter says NBA trade talks are heating up. Decide and Gilbert break down a potential blockbuster Ben Simmons for James Harden trade. One has to question Arenas' logic here. While he was obviously once a fierce scorer in this league and he understands how basketball works, it is confusing to see him suggest Blake Griffin or Joe Harris for Simmons. In order to get Simmons, there has to be equal value in return, and that is where Harden would come in. Um, wow, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the whole Ben Simmons thing, man. I mean, he's been trying to get a trade or whatever, based on whatever, since he don't want to be a 76er anymore. But I don't know. Um, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Um, and last topic of the night, of course, has to do with. Hold on a second. Hang on a minute here. Okay, NFL draft quarterback Malik Willis headlines winners and losers from the 2022 Senior Bowl. The Reese's Senior Bowl has come and gone, and we're now in full swing in the 2022 NFL draft season. The national team, which coached by New York Jets, beat the American team coached by the Detroit Lions 20-10. However, the week of practice leading up to the game yielded the bulk of the evaluations that scouts will fold into their evaluations for April's draft. This year's event had its share of challenges, starting with a few unfortunate opt outs. A handful of injuries that occurred during the weekend rain that marred Wednesday's practice and moved Thursday's season to the indoor facility at University of South Alabama. But overall, it was a strong group of talent at the Senior Bowl, especially including a group of defensive linemen that put its best feet forward. Um, Here are some of the big winners and unfortunate losers from the event. Thankfully, for all parties, there is plenty of time to change decision makers' minds. Next up, the 2022 NFL Scouting Combine at the start of March. Of course, you got the winners, like chicken dinners. Oh man. Of course, yeah, Liberty quarterback Malik Willis. We won't spill too much more ink on Willis, whom we profiled on Wednesday following a strong showing that day, in spite of the rain. Truthfully, Willis, like all other quarterbacks at the event, was up and down through the week, but strong buzz in NFL circles indicates what we presumed coming into the week, that if teams are going to gamble on a quarterback in this class, they might as well do so on the one with the most physical upside. A first round landing spot feels likely, even if the team that drafts Willis must have a clear plan for his development. He has alluring traits, but is hardly a polished product. Whoever drafts him could end up with a star in time. It's the Trey Lance debate all over again, in a sense. Kenny Pickett. very little flash this week, but overall, it was a reinforcement of the kind of quarterback Pickett might end up becoming. He profiles as a quarterback somewhere on the Jimmy um, Garoppolo Tour Tagovailoa spectrum. The solid middle class of starters, we believe. And for QB needy teams, Pickett likely could be a day one starter, considering his vast college experience and solid showering in unfamiliar surroundings in mobile. Yes, the hand size is 8 1/4 inches unofficially. He opted not to measure this week. Waiting for the scouting combine remains a storyline. But Pickett handed the ball pretty well in Wednesday's rain, helping his cause after fumbling 38 times in 52 college games. Um, that's that's weird. Teams that met with Pickett were impressed with his poise, temperament, and preparedness, and Pickett's teammates appeared to respond favorably to his on-field communication between plays during practice. He tackled on a nice first quarter, showing in the game 6 for 6, passing 89 yards, touchdown, only one off-target pass, and did nothing at all to change the fact he's a likely first rounder. Um, Florida. Okay. Um, Damian Pierce. The question I came away with from this week: why didn't Dan Mullen and the Gators feature Pierce more? The Senior Bowl is seldom a place where backs can impress significantly, but Pierce bucked that trend. All week long, he looked assertive as a runner and pass blocker, and facile as a receiver. Watching his burst, vision, and yards after contact ability, Pierce looked more like a big fish in a small pond rather than someone who averaged a fewer than 100 touches over his 4 seasons in Gainesville. How the 5'9", 220-pound back Newer received more than 17 touches in his 48 college games feels like coaching malpractice. Two other backs who stood out: Missouri's Tyler Batty, Batty, and Arizona State's Rashad Wright. Um, okay, Christian Watson. Trey's Trey Lance's deep threat in 2019 and it with relatively high expectations or at the very least some fascination. Was Watson impressed in the weighed in by measuring in at 6'4" and 211 pounds with good arm length, 32 3/4 inches, and big hand 10 inches. Then he went out and stacked 3 impressive practices and set himself up as a possible top 50 selection. Um, what impressed us were his strong releases off the line and his body control. He toyed with most um, cornerbacks he faced in practice and looked far more developed than you expect from an FCS receiver coming from a school that features the run game. Watson also made a nice diving snag in Saturday games. And showed some recognition, getting up and gaining yards after the catch. Stay with me, folks. I all right. Okay, where was I? Wait a second. Where was I? Wait. Okay. Okay. Wait, where is it? Oh, okay, gotcha, gotcha. Um, okay, the game uses NFL rules, and the cornerback appeared to give up on the play. Coaches and scouts will notice that stuff. Other receivers who impressed included Memphis Calvin Austin III, Rutgers, Rutgers Bull Melton, and South Alabama's Jalen Tolbert. Um, Greg Deuce, Greg Dulcich, a day three prospect coming in. Dulcich created some momentum with a strong week of practice. His blocking effort was impressive, and he showed some real burst at this catch and more fluid athleticism than I noticed in his limited receiving opportunities with the Bruins. Dulcich appeared to be a favorite target for both Willis and Sam Howell and helped himself. It was a nice group of tight ends at this year's event, and Dulcich looked the part among them. Um, San Diego State's Daniel Bellinger was another eye opener who made the most of his opportunity this week. Boston College OL Zion Johnson. It's not a shock Johnson did well. He finished an impressive college career and very respectable grades, and those won't go down after this week. Johnson took some time to adjust to center, a position he's learning on the fly after spending most of his time at BC. Uh but after a few bulky snaps on Tuesday, Johnson settled in nicely. He also won some scouts over by continuing to work on his snapping and footwork after practice on a rain soaked Wednesday session that had most players quickly headed for the locker room. UConn's Travis Jones taxed Johnson with some power rushes, but Johnson also earned some wins versus Jones and handled nearly every other assignment beautifully. It, if he's not a late first rounder, Johnson shouldn't last too long into day two and profiles as an immediate starter at guard or guard or center. Travis Jones, um, let me see. Isn't he? Yeah, Travis Jones, a straight up bully who owned most one-on-one battles this week. Most players had no idea what to do with Jones' power and tenacity, and it backed up what we saw on college film. Um, consistently gobbling up double teams and collapsing lines. He's likely day two pick who basically could crack up. Hold on. Hold on. What is it? Yeah. Day two pick who could crack up the 60 for a defense looking to add some real beef up front. Don't want to use a first rounder on Georgia's Jordan Davis. Perhaps Jones is the better value in a similar package. Oklahoma, DT Perion Winfrey, Arkansas, John Ridgway, and Missouri State, Eric Johnson. Also made strong impressions up front. Um, Logan Hall. Um, we came in fairly high on Hall, and his week wasn't perfect, but he struck us as a multi-positional frontliner who made sure to back up any poor rep he had with a strong one on his next attempt. Hall took to hard coaching from the Jets staff and gave consistently good effort and mostly positive results. His length and athleticism could make Hall a dark horse round one candidate. Uh, a Saints 2021 first rounder, Peyton Turner, Hall's former Cougars teammate. uh, Of course, Jermaine Johnson II, as predicted, Johnson dominated the first 2 days of practice and then tapped out on Thursday. A wise move. Why? He had nothing more to prove. Johnson was the best player in mobile we saw this week. We wrote about Johnson's Tuesday post practice showdown with Kentucky's Darian Kennard. And though Johnson technically lost 2 of those 3 reps, his dominant traits were on full display. Both days he was out there, both in one-on-one pass rush drills and in full teamwork. Our guess, Johnson has moved firmly into the top 20 pitcher. Um, okay, DeMonte Clark. We pulled a few evaluators for players who stood out the most, and Clark's name came up twice. He's a tremendous athlete who should shine combined testing, but his on the field performance um this week was strong to very strong. Um Clark led the way in run stops during practices, showed better than expected coverage ability, um, and was effective as a blitzer. He might be LB3 in this class and a possible top 40 overall selection. Another uh another off the ball linebacker who quietly impressed Oklahoma's Brian Ace Samoa. He's undersized but polished, competitive, and well-rounded. Let me see. Oh my goodness. All right. So I'm gonna just go over the names. I'm not gonna read the whole bio and stuff. So I'm just gonna go through. This is the winners. This is Damon Clark, Troy Anderson, Kyron Johnson, Tariq Woolen, um, um, Jalen Petra, um, Jake Kamardia. That was the list of winners. Now we go to the losers right here. So this is um Jahan Dotson, um Dontero Drummond, Alec Pierce, um Abraham Lucas, Nick um Nick Zakel J, um Jojo Domain, Cameron Thomas. Yeah, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this show right here, man. Um, look. I may not have a lot of commentary on the whole thing with college basketball and stuff, but I wanted to dedicate this show to sports because it makes me be aware on some topics that I'm going to talk about and stuff. So there you have it right there, folks. You like what you heard in today's episode of Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, the Sports Edition show. Please feel free to show some love by making a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is $G Money Stacks 555. All right. That's capital G, lowercase MONEY, and capital S, lowercase TACKZ, 555. Once again, it's not about bringing a bank. It's all about doing what you can. On whatever amount you decide to donate will be appreciated. All right. And speaking of appreciation, you can follow the show Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast on Instagram. Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, alongside with my number one handle with G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York, and Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Yes, you can follow me on 17 Live at G Money Stacks, Queens, New York as well. All right, so I want to go into something that I just added it to here. Called, hold on, before I even do that, let me make sure I get this ready. And this is called Stream Choices on the Go. And for those of you who may not know what that is, this is basically where I go over where you could actually listen to the episodes of Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast Sports Edition show. You know what I'm saying? I am going to go over where you can listen to the episodes. So we're gonna go over this right now. So there you go. We are on Anchor, Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podorama, Podopolo, Podcast Addict, Podcast Index, Podchaser, Reason FM, Spotify. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser, Podfriend, and Spotify. It'll be much appreciative. We are on Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, and don't forget to listen to Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast, the Sports Edition show on Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. And last but not least, the YouTube. You go on the YouTube of Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast Sports Edition Show YouTube channel page. Make sure you enable alerts so you can be reminded when the show goes on the air via live stream. Stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes. Download your favorite episodes. Tell a friend to another friend. Make sure you share the episodes, share the videos, spread the word, and of course, make sure you basically share the podcast along with the Linktree link that says Linktree/Excellent Fun Vibrant Podcast. Along with the audio streaming platforms that I just went over with your friends. All right. Now from here, All right. So before I even go to our last segment of the night, I want to actually take the time to actually say, make sure you reach out to your loved ones. What is um your wives, your husbands, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your friends. Those individuals might be fine on the outside based on beauty, looks, whatever it may be, but it's all about the inside, folks. Um, so, um, so you don't have to wait every year when it comes to mental health awareness day. No, yes, mental health month, which is in May, mental health day, actually, is what I meant to say. Um, and you can't put a time frame on when is a good time to reach out to somebody to show that that you care. You know what I'm saying? Um, so therefore, it's all about following your mind, your soul, your heart, your instincts, and of course taking a risk, which is one of the important things of being rewarded. So yeah, there you have it right. There you have it right there. And also, man, make sure you be kind to one another, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you know, check to see if they're doing all right on the inside, whether they got bullied face to face, whether they got fucking cyber bullied on the internet by fucking internet thugs, um, for misunderstandings or whatever case scenario may be. Um, and do the best you can to be um morally supportive with empathy and compassion. Um, we don't want any more. We don't want no more suicides, man. You know what I'm saying? That whole thing that happened with Chelsea Chris really took a toll out of everybody because this is and you hear about body shaming all the time too, man. Like we got to cut this shit out, man. Like there's no way you're going to look like the exact person um in magazines. There's no way. So another thing, stop comparing yourself to people in the magazines with sexy bodies or whatever case scenario may be, man. Like that's not gonna help you. That's not gonna help your image, man. That's just me. That's just me, man. And it's all about being yourself, man. Period. That's all I'm saying right there. It's all about being yourself, man. You can't be nobody else but you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So my last segment of the night is what you call podcast free game mechanisms. Let's put some chimes on here, shall we? And our last segment of the night has to do with giving you guys some free game on how to start a podcast, which is very important to me because I feel like a mentor to everybody. And I actually was helping out one person who goes by the name of Pink Rice, aka Cindy, who has a podcast with a bestie Coco on there called You Are Glowing Podcast, which already 13 episodes already. By the time this is done, um, episode 13 will be uploaded and posted to the YouTube channel page after this recording. So, um, now let me start off by saying this. First and foremost, you need headphones. You also need a microphone. Now, it doesn't have to be anything too expensive, folks. It could be anything that's simple. It could be something that's less expensive, whatever it may be, man. You don't need to spend a lot of money to sound professional. You just gotta sound yourself. You gotta be yourself, especially when it comes to being behind the mic. And of course, you gotta have confidence and energy to be in behind the mic, which is an important key to podcasting, which helps me and it helps you as a rookie podcaster. It it helps the listeners and it helps the watchers in the YouTube universe community that's also listening to this right there. Also, you need a laptop or a computer so you could do your live streams, which is very important. And of course, you need software to support your YouTube live streams. And I got one for you. StreamYard. Now, StreamYard is a software that I use to connect my YouTube channels, 3 YouTube channels actually, which helps me record my podcast episodes on a weekly basis. And for the most part, what I like about StreamYard is the simple fact it has better sound quality. It also has um it also has creation tools where you could actually be able to um create talking points, especially social media handles where people could actually follow the show, where people could actually follow on Instagram or any other handles whatsoever, even the YouTube channel right here. It also helps with creating segments, whether you have websites for your clothing line store, uh, your sneakers, jewelry line, of course, your hats, wristbands, um, your own clothing line that's like black owned, um, whatever it is, all that is welcome. And another feature that you could do on StreamYard is for you to create an account. And when you type in your email address in the show's email address, the podcast email address, you want to make sure that you type that in. And once you type that in, you'll get you press the login code. And when you see that in the email, when you take a look at the email, it's going to take you it's going to actually give you six numbers that will actually help you instead of using the password. So 6 numbers, you type that in, and then all that you get to set up your live stream schedules on specific days you want to actually do this. You know what I mean? And of course, you get to send invite links to the people that you want to have in your live chat, live stream recording. So, what you want to do is you send the invite link to the people, whether you have email addresses, phone numbers, you even have Instagram. You know what I'm saying? You could DM people on the Instagram handle with the link on there, which is exactly what I actually did. For the most part, um, for the most part of StreamYard, you get to create your own brand. And that's excellent right there. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing about being a podcast host is, having the confidence, being energetic behind the microphone. And you want to make sure that the people are tuning in and listening to you and all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I've been doing that for a while, for the past couple months and stuff. And look what happened with my first podcast show. its 1 year anniversary. I'm already on top of 112 episodes already. And on top of that, um, with my other podcast show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, it's up to 49 episodes. I didn't record 50, but I will try to record 50 tomorrow. So yeah. So success comes from within yourself. It's not about the amount of followers you have, and it's not about the analytics of the analytics, as somebody put it. It's not about that. Those things, um, those things don't really, the amount of followers don't define you. Everybody's idea of success is different. And what I and there's a quote that I saw on my homeboy's clothing line where it says success hits differently when nobody believed in you. Meaning that some there's some people who didn't believe in your goals and dreams as far as your career and all that other stuff. And there's a few that actually do believe in your goals and dreams and stuff, like I'm doing right now with podcasting and making a career out of it. No, I don't want to be on TV. No, I don't want to be on TV because I'm not a scripted particular person. It's all about authenticity. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there you go. And of course, podcasting is not about the amount of it's not about pleasing the people that's listening and watching as well. It's all about what you think about the topics with your thoughts, talks, opinions, and facts. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know, don't worry about the hater burgers from the garbage hater mobile, all right? You want to eat them up and picture them as food, like, and you want to eat them up like this. And yeah, man. Um, Look, that's gonna do it for episode 13 right here. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm G Money Stacks, and I appreciate every single one of you who actually had a chance to listen to the episodes compared to a few. I know sometimes I'll be having some days where you feel like you're being blown off because too many people are busy with other shit. But then again, it's like, it takes a little time to progress. Success takes time, and gradually, if I'm able to reach success, so can you that are interested in being a podcaster like myself, who has 3 shows under my belt. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to you know be appreciative of yourself by being creative. Being There's levels to being an artist, you know what I'm saying? um and yeah, and also you can download the Anchor app to your phones, your iPhones, your Androids, your iPads, your computers, and your tablets, your Android tablets. Um, or you could check out the website anchor.fm so you could get yourself a head start so you could be able to you know, get a start on your podcast journey, you know what I'm saying? And I wish you the best luck. So, like I said, that's gonna do it for me. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm off this shit. G Money Stacks is clocking out for the night. And I will see you guys in the next episode I hope you guys are staying warm. Make sure you have your water with soap, hand sanitizer, water, um, Gatorade for electrolytes with energy and strength, hot tea with lemon or lime, honey, and ginger, or you can have hot chocolate with marshmallows. If you have any marshmallows, you can add some to it too. Now that's the installation of inspiration right there, folks. So don't you forget that. Of course, be mindful of the people that you surround yourself with, especially in vans, subways. Of course, there's parks, there's buses. You just name it, man. And and another thing, don't worry about the fucking internet thugs, man, trying to troll people who ain't got nothing else to do. All right, it's all about it's all about what makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? It's all about you and what makes you smile. So don't you forget that. Um, yeah. Um, I'll see you guys next time in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and this content that I just created. And yeah, peace and one love, and have yourselves a good night.